Hello, and welcome to the series Kai Women Around the World, a show where we interview our Kai community to see how they organize their lives. Our Kai microphone traveled all over the world to get all the ins and outs about their daily routines. Are you traveling with us?
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Kai Women Around the World. For today's episode, our mic traveled to Toronto in Canada, and the guest that we are inviting for this new episode is Annie Bourdeau.
Annie is the CEO of Amplius Business Design, a private consulting firm specializing in healthcare, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, and advanced scientific education. She's part of different board of directors.
She has a PhD in immunology and different degrees in healthcare. She is also a loving mother, and for the moment, she is planning a move to Montreal. Welcome, Annie.
Hi, welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm really good, energetic. This is morning in Toronto, and I'm glad I can join you for this podcast.
We are very excited. Annie, we have tried to introduce you, but we would love to hear it from you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes. It's not that I don't know where to start from, but I'll start with the bottom of my heart, which is I'm a really 49 years old woman, partner and wife for the last 29 years to a wonderful husband, which he is half Canadian, half Belgium. As well, I'm a proud mother of 3 boys. Now, some of them are young men. Yeah, I'm getting into the 50s.
They grow fast.
As you mentioned, I am a doctoral graduate from the University of Toronto in immunology. I am one of the Governor General Gold Academic Medal recipient. I'm as well a graduate from Queen's University as well in Ontario, Canada, in business administration. I was an academic scientist for 10 years. And I don't know if we should say this, I jumped off the cliff and decided to start my own consulting company. I'm now the CEO of Amplius Business Design, a business development consulting firm serving the healthcare, as you mentioned, the biotechnology industries, and worldwide.
That's a whole list.
That's me. Simple.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
So you like a big challenge in your life?
Yes, I like big challenge. But as well, I am a family person. I am proud of what I've accomplished. Being Canadian, a lot of Canadian, and it will perhaps come into the conversation later. There's a lot of very skilled Canadian in the population. And that's why we are proud of living in this country.
Perfect. So this podcast is about how Kai women around the world organize their life and to discover what it is that we can learn from them or simply just to get inspired by them. So what does a day in your life look like, Annie?
Every day is kind of different and I wouldn't change that because if it's the definition of a routine is that this is something that you do every day. So I'm trying to think what I do every day. And I did come up with a core routine, and which is waking up early. And I wake up really early and resist.
And what is waking up early?
Early is 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, up to 6:30. And the wake up early, and the word of wisdom of my only 49 years old is resist the snooze button. You wake up and this is your day. Hey, my self-care routine in the morning is really important. And that self-care routine is, the regular taking a shower, making myself look the way I want, making myself pretty, being good with myself, feeling good in the morning. If it takes a shower, it takes a shower. If it takes a mask, I do a mask. If whatever it takes, the morning routine is important. And as well, it is important to eat breakfast. So I do eat breakfast. Sometimes I do work with my breakfast. And on a positive note, because some people would say, oh, this is routine, it's boring. On a positive note, you have to get the family ready as well. I do have grown-up men now, but I went through the family routine. And that family routine for me, it was a way to observe our children or spouse, to see and to observe and listen. What's going on, what will go on during the day, if they're stressed out, if there are anything wrong with them or anything good with them. Good, I would feed up to it. Oh, they're good, they're having a huge project today, they're excited. I would feed, and that would make my day. If they're stressed out, maybe I should revise my priority today to make things better for our family life, but as well for my professional life. As my family life and professional life do collide together, and they're hand in hand. And that morning is very important for me. And sometimes I would revise my to-do list and bring out new priorities in life just by observing and listening what's happening in the morning. And then what's important during my day, so as a routine, is to have enough time between the tasks. And this is something I learned over time. Give yourself enough time for Zoom calls. Give you 15 minutes between clients. Give yourself time for a snack. Give yourself time for lunch. You can work during lunch, but allow yourself to properly nourish your brain, properly be yourself, and be as well healthy. And what I chose to do in life allows for that. Some people have jobs that don't allow for that. And I'm very lucky that I have that. And the only thing to finish the day routine is the back to school. So that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock thing, this is the worst time of the day. I'm sorry to say this. It is the most stressful for me. And over the years, I've addressed this, and I don't have a magic formula for the back to school thing. It is my least favorite time of day, but this is it. And then once you pass that, we got usually activities, sports, boys. I do sports. I love being active. Sports time is important. This is where it all happens. We got dinner time, and now with grown-up children, we try as much as we can to have family dinners once in a while. And the other important thing is that we have established quiet time after dinner. It is quiet time. If grown-ups want to go out, this is okay. If I see friends or have meetings or whatever, this is okay. But there is quiet time after dinner, helps with the studies, helps calming down the day, and gives us time as a couple as well. So me time and time as a couple, and not in chaos.
Super interesting. So what I've understood from what you've said is that actually your day, you plan your day around the mood of everyone around you in the house, and your to-do list can or will change, depends on your family who are the closest to you.
Yes, because having a company or not working for anyone else external allows me to have flexible time. And it is that flexible time that is key for me. And that's why I'm comforting myself of jumping off the cliff and doing it. It's really something that really augmented our joy of life in our family.
Wow, that's nice. You also mentioned something that is very interesting to me, is that you take time in the morning to do whatever it takes to make you feel good, but you have 3 children. Now I'm guessing that's easy, but when they were little, how did you combine it? Did you wake up before them and that gave you some time to prepare, or how did you deal with that?
Yeah. So for them, we had made a routine. If you wake up early, this is what you need to do. You don't come in and wake up mom and dad. Mom and dad, when the door's closed, the door's closed, unless you have something urgent. And, they all tested the boundaries for sure. But we've reassured them that they could wake up, they could read something, they could watch a movie, they could do something for themselves. And we've put them on a routine. So 7:00 they would wake up. And just note one particular thing about Canada, it may come back during our talk, but school starts later in Canada. So 8:30, 9:00, depending on the schools or the schools we go through. So the children have time in the morning. It's not rush, go. And as they aged, they did homework they didn't do in the morning. They did homework they didn't do the day before. Everyone made up their routine as they were growing up. When they were very, very, very young children that we had to get them out of the crib, that's another story, a totally different story, where I did not have a self-care routine, where I did not have a life. And I had a life. Sorry about this, but it just came out like this. I feel so lucky to have children that are taking care of themselves. And this is something that a lot of Canadians do and have good pride of it, is that children participate in chores, in daily chores, and children are raised having to take care of themselves. And with a routine, it is much simpler. And they interpret the routine according to their own age. So they modulate the routine we gave them when they were young. And it works. It just works. Now I'm sort of enjoying my 10-minute shower. If I want to do something to my face because I feel I don't feel well, I can take an extra 5 minutes. I can do things for myself. And imagine the me time could be the self-care, all the self-care I described. It may not mean me time that I'm going to Florida in the US alone with the girlfriends. It may not mean this for everyone. Me time is time for me to feel good. And without anything to think of, if it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes. If it's an hour, half hour, good, I take it. Take every minute that you have for yourself to feel good. And this is my take on your question.
I totally agree with that. And you've said earlier that it's a typical Canadian thing to let the kids help in chores in the house. Is there any other typical Canadian things that you guys do when it comes to building a routine?
Yes. Just letting you know that our family is no different than about 60% of the Canadian population, where they have young children under non-parental care during the day. So 60% of the Canadian family. And you must know that the Canadian population is heavily based on immigration. So 300,000 and more immigrants per year, and most of them are skilled immigrants. and which we like to see, and if you must have read this in the news, that Canada is seen as a cultural mosaic rather than a melting pot of people. It's a mosaic where, and that cultural, mosaic affects the way parents raise children and as well juggle with the daily routine. But as well, in our lives, we've been living in English Canada for the past 15 years. Now moving, as you mentioned, moving to Montreal, to French Canada, where we were born. This is where my accent stands from. We're
We
French
also have an
Canadian.
accent, no worries.
French Canadian, and you from Belgium know how to juggle with Flemish, French,
Yeah.
and English,
Yeah, absolutely.
everything around you. So we're moving back to French Canada. So where the proportion of families that are with children under non-parental care during the day moves up to 78%.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Quite a difference, and this is mostly due to different province. So provincial, which is Quebec, we're moving to Quebec. We are now in the province of Ontario, and we're moving to the province of Quebec. This is mostly due to provincial policies, and the Quebec policies favors equal opportunity for men and women to access the job market. And this is very important. They were the pioneers in Canada in stating those policies. So now in Quebec, and it's going to spread to most of Canada as the federal government, so the Canadian government, is now instating similar laws. But those laws have been in place since way, way back, 15, 20 years. Mothers and fathers splitting the time with their newborn for 18 months. 18 months, mothers, not both, but cumulative time, mother and father, 18 months leave with their newborn.
Wow.
It gives time to bond, to instate that routine. And this is so important. And the next thing is the heavily subsidized daycare center. So that's why a lot of children are under non-parental care during the day, in the order of $10 Canadian a day now. But in my time, when I had my two first children, it was $7 a day. So who cannot afford of going to work when your children are under care at $7 a day? So these are the policies that were in place and that are in place for families. And this is how we shape the routine, and this is who we are.
So
Super
family is
interesting.
super important throughout the country, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I think I'm moving to Canada. Is there still a spot for a blonde Belgian girl?
You're a skilled worker, so why not? My father-in-law did it.
Yeah, obviously.
Moved to Canada to have his family. He's a retired 90 years old anesthetist. So a physician anesthetist.
Oh, okay. In order to organize your life, are there any tools or applications that you use besides from taking extra time after every job or meeting that you use to plan your life?
So I thought about this, and maybe it is particular because we have grown-up kids, and I see that even a 12, 13-year-old is just starting to do this. We do have a common family digital agenda, and I will say it's no commercial for anyone, but we use Google Calendar. Everyone's on Google Calendar, and we do put our professional calendar. Sebastian and I put our professional calendar on. Kids say, okay, I'm working X time. I'm going I'm not here for dinner. They put it with their name and calendar. And everyone in the morning gets like Google does, send morning calendar. And then I know where everyone is and I know what everyone's doing. And they know they can't come to the office. They can't do this. They can't make noise. They can't, because I have interviews. I have a client. I'm working. Block time means me time. Mom is not around, not available. So we do have that. And then think about a family. Family, yes, nice family, we're going out, but family has an apartment, have a condo, have a house, have a cottage, have some. So there's always things to do with the home, with the cottage, with obviously you have to mow the lawn, you have to repair XYZ. So we use Mindster task for those. And Mindster task, this is for household things. For example, we need to paint something. And so I've ordered quotes. Quotes come in, picture, put it on Mindster task. So the husband comes in and said, oh, you got the quotes, and the quotes are there. So we never lose the quotes because they are on that system. And then we know when the trades are coming in to do the work. Everyone knows. So Mindster task for that, wherever they are, we got Mindster task. We know 2 years back how much it cost for this, for that. So we have no, I think it is too expensive. So there is no issues with Mindster task. And then there is that to do that I only have. I only use it. So maybe other members of my family, but I use to do by Microsoft to do daily short list of things. And these are the 3 things we use to make your life easier as far as technology.
Okay, perfect. You also talked a bit earlier about the supporting system that you need to have when working in Canada. And it brings me to the cliche for Canada is that it's a very welcoming and open country. Mm-hmm. Is it something that is true? And if so, please elaborate.
Yes, that's what it's not a cliche. So Canada is built and depends on immigration, and immigration is essential and is perceived as immigration builds Canada as a mosaic. And you can appreciate all the subtle difference from the immigration you have in your country. But I don't know how to answer this question. Why, if you look, if I'm critical about Canada, you see that everything is nice and people are nice. However, if you look at it from another country, our country is a lot less productive than, for example, the US. And how come? We're so skilled. How come we're not as productive as seen by the outside? And this is influenced by the very low capital investment to labor ratio. I mean, we're 39 million people in Canada to 10 million 10 million kilometers square. Well, in the US, there are 8 times more. So the capital investment in the country is really low. And then it comes down as well to the international trade agreements that we have. You can have all the skilled people if you don't have any output or any trade agreements with other countries, everything stays in and you get the results. Yeah, lower results, a less productive country. And then think about how many people we are with that big country. And it is a huge issue that there is great distance between the urban centers and which affects as well the quality of the different jobs. So this is all 3 things that maybe will not switch the way we see Canada, but this is the reality we have. We have a wonderful country, a big country, not many people, based on immigration. But these are the three hurdles that maybe no one has heard about it, but it is really true. We're not too many people, and all this brings external pressure that will actually reflect and make pressure on the way we organize our lives. And this is just simple facts. And it will reflect on our family. It will reflect on our extended family, on our relationships.
Yeah, but that was the question, the follow-up question that I had. So you say we're less productive. Certainly, if we compare ourselves to the US.
Yes,
because we're not. Or is yeah, the rest of America, is it just perspective from our part, but is it maybe also because you prioritize family much more, and maybe your hours during the day to work are shorter than they do in the US?
Yes, it does reflect, but still, the clash we had in English Canada versus Quebec, and as well, as we were putting our children into the French system from France, those people were saying, "You crazy North American, you work too much." And especially in the summer, because our family were just working in the summer and sending off our children. And they had a month off. And that was odd to us because, however, in Canada, we're much better than the States, that if you worked at least 6 months for a company, you do have your 2 weeks off. And then if you work for more, you have 3 weeks, and you do have your time off. It is not something that they have, especially in the States. Everywhere they have it, but not everyone. The proportion of people that have those advantages are really smaller than in Canada. So this is just it. This is our way we function.
Okay.
It's very nice for us to see. We've been talking to women around the world so far, and it's very insightful to hear all of the perspectives and to see how it works in each and every country. Sadly, our time is running up. Just maybe one last question. If you have any advice for busy women around the world, what would it be?
So my best advice, work around your kid's schedule. And it is feasible and possible. Delegate tasks to your family, your support system. Sorry to say, learn to say no, and realize that it is okay not to be perfect.
Great
Sorry
tips.
about this.
No, great tips. Thank you very much, Annie, to be here with us. Thank you very much for this open conversation. It was a pleasure to meet you, Annie, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank
and
you.
Hope to see you one day, maybe in Canada or in Belgium. Who knows?
Who knows? You have my number now.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you so
soon.
much.
Bye.
Bye.